Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Hitler's rise to power. Born in 1889 in Austria, Hitler spent his youth in poverty. When the First World War broke out, he enrolled in the army, acted as a messenger in the front, became a corporal, and earned medals for bravery. The German defeat horrified him, and the Versailles Treaty made him furious and humiliated. In 1919, he joined a small group called the German Workers' Party. Soon, he took over the association and renamed it the National Socialist German Workers' Party. This party came to be known as the Nazi Party. In 1923, Hitler planned to seize control of Bavaria, march to Berlin and capture power. He failed, was arrested, tried for treason, and later released. The Nazis could not rally support until the early 1930s. It was during the Great Depression that Nazism became a mass movement. As we have seen, after 1929, banks and businesses shut down, workers lost their jobs and the middle classes were threatened with poverty. In the tense situation, the Nazis gave hopes of a better future. Hitler was a powerful speaker. His passion and his words moved people. He promised to build a strong nation, undo the injustice of the Versailles Treaty and restore the dignity of the German people. He promised employment for those looking for work, and a secure future for the youth of the country. Hitler devised a new style of politics. The red banners with the swastika, the Nazi salute, and the ritualized rounds of applause were all part of the spectacle of power. Nazi propaganda skillfully projected Hitler as a leader, a savior, as someone who had arrived to deliver people from their distress. It is an image that captured the imagination of a people whose sense of dignity and pride had been shattered, and who lived in a time of economic and political crises. The destruction of democracy. On the 30th of January 1933, President Hindenburg offered the chancellorship, the highest position in the cabinet of ministers, to Hitler. By now the Nazis had managed to rally the conservatives to their cause. Having acquired power, Hitler set out to dismantle the democratic rule. A mysterious fire that broke out in the German parliament building in February facilitated his move. The fire decree of the 28th of February 1933 suspended civic rights like freedom of speech, press and assembly that had been guaranteed by the Weimar Constitution. On 3 March 1933, the famous Enabling Act was passed. This act established dictatorship in Germany. It gave Hitler all powers to sideline parliament and rule by decree. All political parties and trade unions were banned except for the Nazi Party and its associates. The state established complete control over their economy, media, armed forces and the judiciary. Special forces were created to control and order society in ways that the Nazis wanted. Apart from the already existing regular police in green uniform and the SAR or the stormtroopers, these included the Gestapo, which was the secret state police, the criminal police, the security service, the protection squads. It was the constitutional powers of these newly organized forces that gave the Nazi state its status as the most dreaded criminal state. People could now be detained in Gestapo torture chambers, rounded up and sent to concentration camps, deported or arrested without any legal actions. Reconstruction. Hitler gave the responsibility of economic recovery to the economist Hjalmar Schacht, who aimed at full production and full employment through a state-funded work creation program. This project produced the famous German superhighways and Volkswagen cars. In foreign policy, Hitler acquired quick successes. He pulled out of the League of Nations, took Rhineland back in 1936, and integrated Austria and Germany in 1938 under the slogan, "One people, one empire, and one leader." He also occupied most of Czechoslovakia. In all of this, he had the unspoken support of England, which had considered the Versailles Verdict too harsh. These quick successes at home and abroad seemed to reverse the destiny of the entire state of Germany. Hitler did not stop here. Schacht had advised Hitler against investing hugely in rearmament, as the state still ran on deficit financing. Cautious people, however, had no place in Nazi Germany. Schacht had to leave. In September 1939, Germany invaded Poland. This started a war with France and England. In September 1940, a tripartite pact was signed between the Nazi Germany, Italy, and Japan. Puppet regimes, supportive of Nazi Germany, were installed in a large part of Europe. By the end of 1940, Hitler was at the pinnacle of his power. He chose war as the way out of the approaching economic crisis. Hitler now moved to achieve his long-term aim of conquering Eastern Europe. He attacked the Soviet Union in June 1941. Thus, he exposed the German Western Front to British aerial bombing and the Eastern Front to the Great Soviet armies. Meanwhile, the USA had resisted involvement in the war. It was unwilling to once again face all the economic problems that the First World War had caused. But it could not stay out of the war for long. Japan had occupied French Indochina and was planning attacks on US naval bases in the Pacific. When Japan extended its support to Hitler and bombed the US base at Pearl Harbor, the US entered the Second World War. The war ended in the May of 1945 with Hitler's defeat and the US dropping an atom bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan.